You've been with her for a while, and somewhere along the way, she started to pull back. She started to be less warm, less engaged, less present in the relationship. And you have been telling yourself the story, she changed. What if she didn't? What if she's responding to something? What actually changed wasn't her, but rather the dynamic between the two of you. I know, stay with me because this is going to change how you might see the whole situation. Hi, welcome to the Dating Rulebook is Wrong series. I'm Mariana, dating and relationship coach, and today we are going to talk about what actually happens when a woman pulls away, when her energy starts to shift. Let's get honest. She's changed is one of the most common things that my male clients have said to me when the relationship starts to deteriorate, when it starts going downhill. And so from where I sit, working with men and understanding how women actually think and communicate, it's almost never the full story. There's usually a part that's been missed completely. And that missing part is almost always the part that matters the most. So if you can see it, you can actually do something about it. If you can't, you are going to continue losing women for a reason that you never understood. So let's get into it. Here is what's actually happening. Maybe she's withdrawn because some of her needs have gone unmet for so long that she started to retreat to protect herself. She didn't really change as a person. She simply stopped expressing something because her expressing it wasn't landing with you. Somewhere along the way, maybe she learned that bringing up something to you didn't really change anything. So guess what? She adapted. She pulled that expression inward. Because guess what? Putting it out there and getting nothing in return was more painful than just keeping it inwards. And here is the pattern that most men miss. Women typically communicate their needs verbally or through behavior. They do this many times before they retreat and go quiet. So maybe the withdrawal you're seeing now is not the beginning of a problem. It's actually at the end stage of it. By the time she's quiet, distant, checked out, it means she probably has been communicating this for months without resolution, without her being heard. The silence is not sudden. It may look sudden to you. Why? Because maybe you weren't tracking the earlier signals. And so here's what her withdrawal is usually saying. If you could translate it directly, it would go something like this. I don't feel prioritized. I tried to tell you something more than once, and it didn't land. I'm not sure if you're actually interested in my inner world. I'm emotionally alone in this relationship, and I am exhausted from trying not to be. And so what she changed actually means that the woman that you fell for, the warm one, the expressive one, she was in full pursuit of this relationship. She was working on it. She was excited about it. She was showing up for it. Often more than you realized. So when that stops, it's not a personality change. It is simply the end of a hope that kept getting disappointed. She didn't become a different person. She just stopped hoping that things would get better, hoping that things would change, hoping that things would improve. And I want to be very, very direct with you here. I'm not saying all women, but usually a woman who has fully withdrawn is a woman who has communicated something for so long, but felt unheard time and time again. So that version of her is not gone. She's just quiet. She's tired. She's hopeless now. And that quiet in women is usually the loudest signal there is. It just doesn't sound like one. And so the time to pay attention is not when that wall is already built. It's the moment you notice the first brick being laid down. The first time she stops repeating something that she used to say. The first time she stops trying to get through to you about something that's bothering her. That's the moment, not 6 months later. Because if it's 6 months later, it might be too late. So here's the reframe. When you notice her pulling back slightly, things changing a little bit, the instinct sometimes is to get defensive, right? To explain, to argue, to prove that you didn't do anything wrong. And I want you to resist that instinct immediately. And I want you to do this instead. Get curious. Say something like, I've noticed you seem a little distant lately. I want to understand what's going on with you. I noticed that you didn't push back as you used to before. What's happening? And you have to say that genuinely, not in an attacking way, not in a I'm going to start a fight, not with the pitchforks ready, but with just plain curiosity and love behind those questions. Those types of questions can totally change the trajectory of the relationship. It tells her something that she may actually have stopped believing, that you're actually paying attention and that there's still room for her to be heard. That is everything. Understanding what women are communicating, especially when they're not saying it directly in words, is one of the most valuable skills a man can build. It's exactly what I help men develop. Listen, I know with so many of my videos, many men feel called out or that I'm attacking them. I am just taking what I see with so many of my clients, and it's not about painting men as the bad guys and women as the good ones, right? I am talking to men in this moment, which is why I'm referring to you all. There's many things that I know women need to work on and actually communicate what they're feeling, and their minds aren't always going to be read. That's a whole nother point. But what I'm trying to help you is when she is struggling to find the words, asking the questions, being curious, caring about what she has to say. It's not about you versus her. It's not about the battle between the sexes. We all want to feel understood and loved. And sometimes men don't notice certain things that women are expressing or saying. So I really do want to make that very clear. There are women who, as much as you ask her questions, she won't express, and that is on her, right? That is something that you cannot work with. But what I'm talking about here is maybe things that you can implement in your relationship that may be helpful. Again, if you want help and support in this, you can always book a call with me. Link is in the description. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.